right, everybody, welcome back to Booze and News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jonathan Fleissner.
And I'm Albert Deleon.
And I want to welcome you guys back to the our economy segment of the show. We're talking about money and shit, and I want to preface this by saying that I and Albert are in no way giving anyone out there any financial advice. Isn't that correct?
Exactly, bro. I don't know shit about money or any of that shit.
So, Albert, while we were gone, they passed the stimulus in what is called the For the People Act, right? They always give these things pretty like epic names. You know what I mean? Like the Patriot Act. It's For the People Act, right? Ironic that the For the People Act had a whole bunch of money in there that wasn't for the people, but there, that's kind of the irony of it all, right? So
That's right.
the For the People Act is a 791 page document that about a quarter of it is about money for COVID aid and shit. There's a whole bunch of bullshit in there. Now, what did pass in this, though, is the stimulus plan, and that's what we're going to talk about today, right? And kind of how that affects the economy. So, what passed? We need to know that, well, first of all, most people hopefully know that not everybody who got the first two stimulus checks, right? The $1,200 check and the $600 check, not everybody who got those will qualify for the new $1,400 check, if you were unaware. Okay? Roughly about 90% of American households will be eligible. A little bit less than 90% will be eligible for the stimulus that was in the For the People Act. Really, the top 10% will not be. They make too much money, right? But if you make over $80,000 a year, and if you have a combined household income, you and your partner, of over $160,000, you are ineligible. Okay? But of course, yes, that this did pass narrowly, barely, in the Senate with 50 Democrat votes to 49 Republican votes. It passed in the House as well. I forget how many Democrat votes there, but with 0 Republican votes. So 0 Republican votes in both the House and the Senate for the stimulus. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
And so they had to use reconciliation to get it passed. But it's not for $2,000. Albert, do you remember? Did we play the clip of them last week talking about that? I can't remember. Where they were promising $2,000 to everybody.
I've seen some clips online of what we were being told before.
Right. There was a lot of the senators who were the people who were running for senator, Ossoff, and the other guy, I forget his name off the top of my head, were promising everybody that if they got elected, they would get immediate $2,000 checks, right?
Right.
Warnock is the other guy's name. Over and over again, immediate $2,000. And then they got into office, and then it took over 50 days. So I don't know about you, but I don't consider 50 days pretty immediate. If you're 50 days late with your rent, is that okay?
Nope.
What happens if you're 50 days late with your rent, Albert?
They'll throw your ass on the fucking street.
You get evicted. You can't be 50 days late with shit. So that wasn't immediate. And then when we got it, they said, oh, well, the $2,000, you see, you got $600 a couple months ago. So what we're saying is, we're going to take that out of it. We're going to give you the other amount of that $2,000 you didn't get, which is $1,400, right? I'm surprised, Albert, they didn't go, well, we gave you $1,200 last March. We gave you $600 in October, right? We're gonna give you $2,000. Okay, here's $200 because, well, obviously that makes
Right.
$2,000 total, right?
Yep. And that's interesting that you bring up that point, which we've talked about. You know how the government has not only can their senators make huge mistakes and be not fired, but the government, when it comes to passing shit that's an emergency situation for the people, they have all the time in the fucking world, almost as if it's not an emergency,
Right,
which makes no sense.
right. An actual crisis, right?
Right.
Like war, but, domestic. And all the other countries seem to have figured this shit out besides us, Albert. In Canada, weren't they giving people like $2,000 a month or some shit, $1,000 a month? A lot of countries were instead of laying people off, right? In certain countries, they were guaranteeing like anywhere from like 70 to 95% of those people's pay. So that way the companies didn't have to lay people off. There was, all right, we'll just continue letting you pull off your paychecks. So they don't have to go on to unemployment, right? So the companies don't go under, right? But not here. Not here. We got a fucking $1,200 check in March. That was it. I think it took like 8 months, 6 months, whatever. We got a fucking $600 check. We got the least amount of money in the entire civilized world that was giving out money, right, to their fucking citizens. Everybody else was...
And then on top of that, we got dumbasses, regular ass motherfuckers, Republicans that don't even like that. They don't even like.
Well, they don't want to help anybody out.
$1,400.
Well, they don't want to give anybody anything, and then you get this fucking bullshit argument that everyone always tells us, like, oh, they're just lazy. They don't deserve any money. What do you mean? Should they just starve to death? I mean, these are people who are working. The whole unemployment thing. The Republicans, 0 Republicans voted for the stimulus. For the $1,400 checks, they were damned if you were going to give people $15 minimum wage so they could be above the poverty line for the first time in their fucking life, right?
Right.
And, so unemployment, right? So unemployment, I got kicked off of unemployment because the unemployment plus up ran out for me, right? In September, I believe it was, from the CARES Act, right? The $600 a week. Well, that got turned into $400 a week, which you've still been getting, right? Well, that ended like a week ago. So now now that ended. So if they hadn't passed this, you weren't going to get any other extra money. They passed the For the People Act, and now you're going to get $300 a week, right? So $1,200 a month, which is not enough fucking money to live off of. If you're a single person, right, you can't pay your fucking rent with that. And, I mean, even if you pay your rent with that, right, a lot of people's rent is about $1,000 a month for a single bedroom apartment. Now you got $200, I guess, for food and for whatever other bills you got, gas or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's fucked. But that's what they gave. They gave that $300. So to people that, only the people that are on unemployment, and getting on unemployment is a motherfucker. I tried to get back on it. I can't get on it, dude. Nobody will answer my fucking phone calls. Can't email in. Don't get any customer service. We talked about customer service last episode. The government doesn't have any fucking customer service.
Nope. And then when you call people, when you call places, like I have health insurance, I have government health insurance. It's cheap ass health insurance. When you gotta get something done, you call the people. Oh, I can't do it. That's another number. Oh, that's not you. It's another number.
Oh yeah, it's a nonstop bullshit. Just like when you're trying to talk.
Do they not know what a computer is? You can't have one fucker do multiple shit on a computer.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking completely asinine. But actually, this is gonna get. I'm gonna get to this point in a minute, which you're making right now, and I think we have too many departments for all this shit. I told you months ago that I think what we need is UBI. We need universal basic income to deal with this crisis. Fuck unemployment. Fuck stimulus checks, right? Fuck
Right.
food stamps. That's too many goddamn departments. Too much shit you got to sign up for. Just give everybody UBI, a universal, and give it to everybody. That way you don't,
Yeah.
how are we going to give it to so-and-so and this person? No, because they're just going to bitch about it. If you get it, Albert, and they don't get it, they're going to bitch, right? Just give them fucking $1,000 too, right? And here's the deal. At the end of the year, if they made over so much money and you gave them the $1,000, tax the fuck out of them because they didn't need it, right?
Right.
And if they didn't make that much money and they did need it, guess what? They're not going to bitch about it because it fucking helped them.
I mean, it was Trump, these fucking asinine Republicans, Lord and Savior, that came on fucking television and said, we're in the middle of an emergency. You know, there's a deadly disease out. We got to, it's like, if I heard that, I'm like,
well, even he was about giving people money. He was one of the rare Republicans. There's not much you can say good about Trump, but he was one of the people who at least realized, hey, if I give people money, they're going to like me, right? And they're going to vote for my ass. A lot of people who voted for him, Albert, said they voted for him because when they got that check in the mail, whose name was fucking signed on it?
Yeah, but I was just trying to say the reason why I got on unemployment in the first place was because my president told me there's a deadly virus and this is an extreme, real, life-threatening disease. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to fucking work for my little shitty-ass pay to get sick and maybe die.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason why I got an unemployment. So when these Republicans give me shit about not working, it's like I did it because I'm listening to my government.
They don't give a fuck about you. All they give a fuck about, Albert, is that when they go, they want their fucking Taco Bell and they want it now. You know what I mean? It's why we pay migrant workers in this country less than minimum wage, because you can get away with that because there's different rules for fucking migrant workers and shit, right? Just so we can make sure that when those assholes go to the store, strawberries are there and that they're cheap. You know what I mean?
I follow some people on TikTok that are Republicans or older guys or boomers, and all they ever have to say is the same fucking shit. This president's a jackass, and he's gonna. It's like everything is shit that hasn't even happened yet. It's always something that they're like religious people. Jesus is coming.
Well,
Jesus is coming.
Let's talk about what was in this stimulus package. We keep getting off that a little bit, but what was in there also was in the For the People Act, $100 billion for public health, which was also in the CARES Act, which I guess is what they're using for these COVID treatment plants or whatever, right? Vaccines and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And staffing them and tents and setup and National Guard. I assume that's what that's all for. But $100 billion for public health. Another $170 billion went to public schools. Here's one that you're going to be interested in. $3,000 a year per kid for your family, from the age of 6 to 17. If you have a child that's between the ages of 0 to 6, you get $3,600 a year. Now, here's what's really interesting. Now, I have a lot to say about this. One, this only lasts 1 year. This expires next year. So if you get this credit, $3,000 or $3,600 per child, right, it is not guaranteed next year. This is a 1 year thing. Okay?
Right.
But what this is, Albert, is a form of universal basic income. It's just only you have to have children to qualify for it.
Right.
Right? So anybody who has children, doesn't matter how much money you make, I believe. And maybe there's a stipulation on how much money you make there, I'm not sure. But anybody who has children gets this money. Now, I personally disagree with this because, like I said, my reasoning would be to say, just give everybody money. I don't care if you have kids. I don't care if you don't have kids, right? I don't care if you're too old to fucking have kids, right? Yep, everybody gets whatever it is, a UBI, right? Fuck unemployment. It's just like the stimulus check. They gave everybody a $1,400 check, right? I think universal programs are the best programs, right? Like healthcare, right? Don't give you shouldn't have to be so poor that you qualify for health care. Everybody should just get health care.
Yeah.
Like an education, right? If you went to the same public school like I went to, right? It didn't matter how much money our parents made, right? We both went to the same public school, right?
Yeah.
Same thing should be for healthcare. Same thing should be for UBI, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't know. This stimulus package fucking pisses me off. Mostly because they didn't pass $15 minimum wage. It got taken out, even though they had the total possibility to pass it. Because it passed by budget reconciliation. 50 votes to 49. Simple majority, right? They were never going to get 2/3 majority. They were never going to get the way it's supposed to be done by the rules to have 60 votes. Because 0 Republicans were going to vote for it.
Yeah.
So why not just put fucking $15 minimum wage in there? They're like, oh, it's too much. That's asking too much.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing that the money for the kids shit, that came out of nowhere. I guess, it's the government thinks really weird about shit. For some reason they decided.
But Albert, it doesn't. We talked about this on the show months ago. Remember I gave you a little history lesson about Nixon? About how Nixon tried to pass something like this in the 70s to give people with kids money. But he was trying to do it not just for 1 year, every year. Every year you give parents money.
Right. Well, I'm just saying that, right. But, right, what I'm talking about, right, I'm just speaking about the government doing this in general. The fact that it's happening at all is crazy to me.
Well,
and
that's because that's because UBI is a good idea.
Right, but they're not doing that. They're just doing it for people with kids.
But Republicans are okay with that. That's the thing.
Why though?
Because it's always, if it's for children, it's fine. Now, if you're 18 years old and your dad kicks you out of your house and you have nowhere to fucking go because your dad's an asshole or a drug addict or abuser, right?
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I know, it's fucked up. It's almost like they're rewarding people for having kids, but that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's all about this dumb. Well, see, Republicans, it's always about family values and shit, Albert. You got to get that into your head, man. They're like, we want, you to fucking have a bunch of kids, right? Go to church,
right.
Get brainwashed there, brainwash them, keep buying shit, right? Because it's all about consumerism. That's fucking America. America is a goddamn 24/7 outlet mall. You understand that, right? Like there's a Whataburger that's open 24/7. You just go, you eat the Whataburger, you go home, go to sleep, wake up, then all the rest of the stores open at 7 o'clock in the morning. Just keep buying shit. Buy shit all the time. Right?
Right.
So, whatever. I don't know. The whole fucking stimulus pisses me off. The one thing that would have made it, the only thing in that stimulus plan that I actually gave a fuck about, I don't give a fuck about $1,400 checks. Look, yes, I'm going to use that money when I get it to help me out, right? But that is a fucking Band-Aid on a problem, right?
Yeah.
That this country has. If you gave people $15 minimum wage, well, that would drive my wage up. That would make me make more money because I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm more qualified than that, right? So it increases my wage to help me get a better fucking life long term, big picture. Not this bullshit one-time $1,400 check. How much does that fucking help me, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Makes me upset. So, it's been the economy and shit. And I bet next week we'll have a lot of real good news for you guys.